day 12, Min beneath the trees. It's hot and muggy today. Her thoughts were interrupted by a light hooting laugh. Megals have good navigation skills. Even so, I was often disorientated without a horizon, and I'd find myself flying upside down when I came out of the smoke. Ottolin's momentary levity passed. He cleared his throat, narrowed his immense yellow eyes, and looked directly at her. As you will know from your lore, Megals are the guardians of the Silver Radiant Forest, Min. Still, I wonder if you know much about the trees themselves. A little, she answered hesitantly. Ottlin waited for her to continue. Well, we know their trunks are lustrous with metallic streaks. Their leaves are burnished bright and inscribed in filigree patterns of silver and gold, and when it rains they shimmer and sparkle as if they've been sprinkled with diamonds. They must be very beautiful. They are, Ottlin agreed. Everything in the valley gleams with the rays of light that ripple through their shiny leaves. Mirror-like silica is strewn along the river Mica's bank. It reflects the light in its surfaces, casting a warm glow over the whole valley. It is a place of rare beauty and peace. What you might not know is that this sacred place is so much more than a forest. It is an incubator for billions of the great orb's beings, all of which flourish in their canopies, trunks and roots, and in the presence. Part of the 8th continent, Min whispered. Yes, Min, it is a great wonder. Would you like to know more? Yes, please, she stammered. Even though she desperately wanted to know more, she did not want to encourage anything that might involve her further. For millions of lunar cycles, each generation of radiance has worked to maintain the perfect environment for this magnificent ecosystem. They rotate their leaves one way to create a giant mirror on hot days which deflects the sun's heat, and the other to make a dark valley which keeps the warmth and humidity within. That's what Galeen said earlier, Min recalled, feeling a twinge of shame at her sour response. Spores, seeds, eggs, and baby beings proliferate. This life is carried out into the world down the river Mica towards the sea. The currents, winds, flappers, and silverlights bear them across the ocean to inhabit suitable places all over the Great Orb. The Silver Radiant Forest is one of only a handful of secret forests around the Earth that have this responsibility. You understand, then, why it is precious, and its safety and secrecy must be maintained. Min nodded, transported despite herself. There is a tunnel through an ancient S-shaped structure. It's called Scarpel, and it curves along the valley floor, separating our home, Lower Glinterdale, from the Silver Radiant Forest. Empress Celestra and a party of the Wise Ones fly through this tunnel on the night of the new moon every lunar cycle to visit the trees and discuss all matters concerning our hidden valley. On occasions, Palia joins us. Palia? The protectress of the mantle? Palia, who shifted tectonic plates to make the lands and oceans and mountains and valleys and pushed glaciers to carve valleys for the river? She who held the Great Orb's crust in balance to maintain the atmosphere above it and allow all to survive? Ottlin talks to this Palia? Min was astounded. It will be no surprise that of late news from Palia has been disturbing. You've noticed the changes in our weather? Ottlin asked, his eyes unblinking. My friends, we believe this is a consequence of the Gorbals' constant meddling with the mantle. They're scouring, digging and drilling, and they're blasting and burning, and the poisons they pour into the soil and the rivers and the seas and the skies, and their disrespect for huge areas of... He stopped. If he mentioned the scale of loss of forests across the Great Orb, the lumens would start to weep. Their tears were too precious a resource to be wasted. Covering up his near blunder with a cough, he finished instead, "Forementioned land." Although the moonlight filtered in silvery shafts through the gum's leaves, Min saw only a stifling darkness, as if the light had been sucked out of the air. I've been watching this terrible situation play out for thousands of ecos. Of course we can put it down to the Gaubles and their insatiable desire for... Amana interrupted, stopping abruptly as Ottoline swiveled to stare at him. It is true. The signs have been evident for a long time, Ottoline acknowledged. This has to be addressed with long-term action, Amana. By the end of this quest, we shall tackle that. For now, it is this mission, and this mission alone, that must be our focus. Min absorbed the impact of Ottoline's word. This mission alone? The one I'm meant to go on? I'll see you under the trees tomorrow.